Oh my. Welcome to the new show of Dick in the Box, where every box is left up to interpretation, because we're all dicks. Hey y'all, thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe and rate us 5 stars if you're on a platform that allows you to do that. We really appreciate it. So enjoy the show. What's good, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Dick and the Motherfucking Box. Welcome and happy motherfucking July 4th, or as we call it, the White Independence Day. I have some extremely special guests with me today. We are in for a treat. I know that I promised you guys we wouldn't talk about HIV, and we're not. But HIV is the topic tonight. But it's not the normal topic. It's about bug chasing. I don't know if you've ever heard of bug chasing. But before we get into all of that, let's do some introductions. I want to introduce somebody that's very special. You know, last month was not only Pride Month, so I was able to wear my gay flag everywhere I went. It was also the month to celebrate dads. Dads come in all shapes, forms, fashions. Some people call them gay dads, some people call them straight dads. I happen to be privileged with a gay dad, and his name is Nathan Maxey. Nathan Maxey, introduce yourself.
Hello, Dick in the Box. This is Nathan.
Yes, yes. He's a little nervous child, so hopefully if y'all rub the box good enough, the dick will come out. And we have one of my babies. My babies, I've been talking a lot about baby. As you guys know, I did the Build a Brother Institute. I would say I facilitated it, but really I worked in community with some wonderful kindred spirits. And one of them was my friend Tyler Hurt. Tyler Hurt is like me. He is me. Just a younger, more unabashed, unapologetic me. And I know that's hard to believe, but this child is about to take us on a roller coaster. Tyler, introduce yourself.
Hey y'all, it's Tyler. Ian is absolutely correct. I am 100% not giving a fuck. Like, let's go. We're doing it today.
Yes. Yes.
It's about to get lit.
So, before we start, y'all know we start with a little bit of chatter for a few minutes. You know, there's a lot going on both in popular culture and LGBT culture. Before we get to our topic, we want to just have a little bit of conversation. Tyler, Tyler is my, I call him a Caucasian woman. So our first topic, she may be out of, but Love and Hip Hop Atlanta season finale happened on yesterday. Well, when y'all hear it, it'll be 2 days from then. So it happened Monday. I watched her. I love Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I think they are probably the most entertaining. They really don't cause me to live tweet because I mean it's obviously scripted. But what's your thoughts on Love and Hip Hop season finale?
I did watch it. It is one of those things that I hope I didn't watch, but I'm a huge fan of the Love and Hip Hop along with Basketball Wives. It's like my guilty pleasure. I thought it was interesting. It was boring.
Yeah, it was boring. It was very for a season finale.
Exactly. I was like, I didn't even know it was a season finale until the commercial was like next week's reunion. I'm like, what? So it was pretty boring, but okay.
And so, what do you think was the highlight this season? I'm trying to think like highlight Love and Hip Hop. I think the highlight for me was the journey, and I'm surprised I'm saying this because I'm so tired of Kurt and Rashida's storyline. Right. But their storyline surely took the cake this season for me.
Very interesting. I did. I liked the persistence of the thought, the girl. I mean, she was just really trying to get Kirk involved in her life, but the way she did it was a little crazy. It was a little stalkish, but I mean, I understand. She just wanted him to be a part of the baby life, and I do understand.
And when you fuck up like that, you just really want forgiveness.
Yeah,
you know.
And, was it Erica got him right on together? She was like,
"Don't touch me, don't touch me."
And that's a loyal friend. That's a bitch. This ain't the camera. Like I ain't forgave you. Everybody else forgive you, but I'm still pissed at the shit.
But I don't. I mean, I try not to be that friend these days. I used to be that friend, but it really is not helpful, especially when your friend and moved on. Child, get over yourself.
And you back with the man anyway.
Right.
You back with her. Right. But I did I had two highlights. So I love that they came to Houston. Unfortunately, I hate that they went to that dude ranch.
Right.
Like Texas and Houston, they had to go outside of Houston. We don't have dude ranches and horses. I mean, we do, but it's so not what people would expect. So they fed into that stereotype, unfortunately. But another one, I really embraced Tokyo. As a man of size, as a big man, I appreciated seeing a full figure woman on there. She did not play. She was all about her fans. I had not really heard of her. I mean, I thought her performance last night.
Best friend, that's my best friend.
Yeah, I'd never heard that song before. Oh. And then, she performed it last night. And it was a little lackluster, but I love her. I love, what she represents, what she brought. They had knocked on the floor one or too many times, but I think those guards were like, we have to knock her down. Otherwise, she was going to get loose. So she's from New Orleans. I appreciate that. I repped her, but I really enjoyed Tokyo. I don't believe the storyline. I don't think that's a real thing.
Nah.
But whatever. We all need a little story.
Well, hey, Tokyo girl, Houston may be seeing her soon. We don't know.
That would be hot.
We don't know. We want you here in Houston, so what's the tea, Tokyo?
She's so real. She's so motherfucking real.
I love Tokyo. And speaking of full figure, we can also talk about men in skirts. And I'm not talking about my wonderful transgender women or drag queens with bodies. I'm talking about my androgynous girlfriends. Tyler, I feel like you know something about androgyny. You've done a couple photo shoots where you have pushed the boundaries of gender. I think you call them gender benders. So talk to me more about what a gender bender is.
Yeah. I was trying to chime in on the Love and Hip Hop thing. I was like, you are absolutely right. I'm a Caucasian woman. I do not watch Love and Hip Hop. I'm so confused. I'm like, RuPaul where? No, but you're right. I've done a couple of gender bend photo shoots. And to me, gender bending is really blurring the lines between masculine and femininity, and what the social constructs are around those. So one of my most favorite photo shoots was I was in front of a couple of graffiti walls. And I went from wearing stockings, like lace stockings, heels, and an oversized sweater, and then immediately turned around and put on a baseball cap and jeans, or no, they were leggings, whatever, and shoes. And I was in front of the other one. I was clothing differently, and I was clothing very masculine and very feminine. And that whole idea of playing with gender and being just very are you not? What's going on is really exciting to me, and it really pushes those boundaries of what's going on. Wearing heels with a pair of jeans is kind of hot to me.
Yes.
Why not wear a pair of heels with a pair of jeans if your legs look good in them?
Yes. And by the way, listeners, it's supposed to storm here for our motherfucking 4th of July, but I wanted to have this motherfucking conversation. So I'm pretty sure y'all won't hear a lot of it, but if y'all hear a little rain, just put on your raincoat, bitch, and get ready for the water. So speaking of 4th of July, aka White Man's Independence Day, anybody doing anything interesting?
No.
I'm working.
You're working?
Oh, really?
I'm working. They're paying me time and a half, though, and they're going to be bringing in, someone's bringing in, barbecue, and they're, cooking barbecue, in the back. So I'm going to be working, but, girl, I'm going to make my money. I'm going to make that time and a half real quick.
Yes. You doing anything?
No, I'll probably be in search of some barbecue somewhere. My landlord my neighbors were talking about barbecuing, but with this rain, nobody's pulling out a pit. So
and it's gonna be wet where they're doing the fireworks, some kind of bug. But speaking of bug, let's open this motherfucking box. Y'all ready to open the box?
Girl, open it up.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's open the box. So our box tonight is about bug chasing. We're calling it Chasing HIV in the Raw. Before we get to that, I was really moved by this. Y'all know I'm always moved by something weird in popular culture. And so I was watching Pose or catching back up on Pose. So I think it was episode 4. It was called like Fever or something like that. And Fever was going through all of the things that we go through in terms of like trying to change, trying to accept who you are and your sexuality on Pose, but dealing with different things, including HIV, silicone injections, things like that. We know those to be like extremely real in the LGBT community, but there are two different ways we deal with them. So I think, like, of course, I don't have silicone injections, and silicone injections, if I can be clear, are not just for trans women, although that's what they were talking about on Pose. Silicone injections, I met a man who had like the thickest dick I had ever met, and I was like, damn, this dick is thick. And it wouldn't get all the way hard. I thought it was because like the blood didn't flow, child. And I started sucking on it, and it felt like it was jiggling in my mouth. And,
I just saw somebody.
yeah.
I was on Twitter and they like injected their balls with silicone. Like they was jiggling all around. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not playing.
Yeah, so I realized that silicone enhancements is not just for trans women. Men get silicone in their dick and their ass and their chest.
Yes.
Yeah, one of
even their cheeks.
Yeah, one of the premier entertainers was talking about his silicone injections on Facebook, Sookie, in Dallas. Hey Sookie, with your fine ass. But anyway, he was talking about his silicone injections and things like that. So anyway,
I didn't know he had silicone in his ass. Wow.
yeah, in his chest too. And he talked about like how it fucked him up. But it's like we celebrate Seal, right? But then we don't have conversations around HIV. So what are y'all thoughts about that?
In regards to
Like the Seal, like how we push Seal, we push being passable with trans women, we push being fine with men and whatever enhancements you need. But then when it comes to HIV, niggas got to get fevers and pass out and shit before we start saying pray for my such and such and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, I think it's just one of the many issues that we face in our community. I think, like, through this podcast and people just start talking about it. And that's one thing that I love about Pose is that it is talking about so many areas in our life that affects us. And so I know people have been on this tangent about, oh God, all these shows about HIV, but I love the way Pose brought on HIV. It's real. It hasn't gone away. We must keep talking about it. Unfortunately, people are so they're tired of hearing about it, but we're tired of talking about it, but it's still real. It's still out there. We're still getting it.
So have you watched Pose, Tyler?
No, I haven't seen it yet, but even without seeing it, I've noticed a huge influx of people talking about HIV, talking about trans women, talking about the ballroom community, even more so than I've seen in a long time. And I think it's really great to see that increase in conversation around such a stigmatized topic, because it does get that conversation out there, and it does make people to actually realize, like, hey, holy shit, this is still a problem. Hey, holy shit, like, we still need to be talking about this, and why aren't we? So for a show such as Pose on a national network to be talking about this is awesome. And I can't wait to watch it. I haven't watched it because I'm on cable still. I watch everything on Netflix because Netflix and chill.
Yes.
Girl, I'm all about Netflix and chill. I think it's such a great thing that the show is doing, and it's really tackling these issues head on. So I love it.
Yes. So, as we get into this conversation, since we're talking about episode 4, Fever, but more specifically, kind of like chasing HIV in the raw. Before I do this, and please, HIV negative folk, please, straight people, please, politicians, etc., take my motherfucking cue. Do this the next time you have these conversations. And do what the fuck I'm doing, because people do this all fucking wrong. Want to start talking about people's status and haven't even got their permission. So before we start talking about what we're gonna talk about, I just want to verbally give both of y'all permission to talk about y'all status
Right.
from HIV negative person.
You definitely have mine. You definitely have my blessing.
Okay, Tyler, you feel comfortable?
Absolutely. You have my blessing, my mission, my statement. What you need, girl, you got it.
Okay, right. So, and I do that because so many times marginalized or oppressed communities, and I say oppressed communities because HIV negative people surely have privilege over HIV positive folk or folk living with HIV, right? So many times, like oppressed communities, what they will do is they will take their, other oppressed communities, the other communities will take their privilege and just say, since you did this, or since you are this, or since you look like this, I can move like this, and that's not how it should work, right? Like, we should always ask permission because that's confidential motherfucking health information. And if you ain't fucking them, it ain't your problem. Anyway, I digress. So I was not always this like pro live your life, get your life for persons living with HIV. Back in the day when I was probably like 16 or 17, my gay father Nathan, who happens to be right here on the podcast with us, child, he had set me down and he said, son, I got something to tell you. I said, what is that? And he said, I've been HIV positive for this long. I think at that time it might have been like 10 years or something like that, 10 or 11 years. And I'm good. I'm not sick. I haven't had any sicknesses. I'm healthy. I'm living my life. And, in front of him, I smiled and I was like, that's so good, right? But internally, I'm like, bitch, I done ate off the same spoon, bitch. I done shitted on the same toilet. I'm gonna die. I was so scared, bitch. And he didn't even know. You didn't even know I was
I
scared.
never do that. Okay. Because I'm like Blanca. What I love about Pose is that she takes her role as a mother seriously. And so when I met Ian in my life, he was 16, he was young, and he was so naive. And so I took him under my wing. I'm like, I saw something in him at such an early age. And so part of that was disclosing my status, just like, I'm sure Blanca eventually going to share with her kids. And so that was a moment. But if he had reacted like he was thinking, I don't know where our relationship went, because I was really trying to educate him and show him, like, this is what the face of someone living with HIV looks like, and it is real, and it's so close to home.
But the thing is, I had never experienced it in that way. Like, I had never, I come from a small town. The HIV looked like death. You went to funerals and they looked bad and they had bad makeup and the funeral homes didn't want to touch them. So coming to a big city, the first person I meet and that mentors me that I look up to, child, come out about their status, I'm like, bitch, I'm going to die. And at some point, the reason why I didn't respond like that, Pops, is because I was just like, child, I done already ate and shitted. So, I mean, if you can get it from that, I already got it. So, hell, let me go on. But it really did change my life as I started to learn more about it. But what's more interesting about HIV in terms of like living your life is the story, not necessarily as much the story about how you got it, but what was life before HIV. I don't think anybody ever speaks to like that there was a life prior to HIV. Tyler, like, tell me more about that. Like, what was life like before HIV?
So, I know you and me have talked before, but to people listening in, life for me personally was turmoil. Before I contracted HIV, I was going through a series of drug addictions, alcohol addiction, sexual addiction, and I just stopped caring and couldn't care. I was so depressed and so sort of put off by every single community that I wasn't accepted anywhere. I was never enough for anything. I couldn't ever be a part of any group. So I was sort of just always there in terms of life, and I was sort of just going through the motions as far as life was concerned before I got HIV. And that's what it was before I got HIV.
Wow. But for you, was it the same, Nathan? Like, was it the same?
Well, when I came out, I've been HIV positive for 20 years. So I was diagnosed in 2000. So I've been living with it for 20 years. So I'm 41, so almost half of my life I've been living with it. And so before, I really don't know because I got it at such an early age. So I knew I just wanted to come out and I wanted to, just be gay. I lived such a closeted life. I didn't have any gay friends. So when I finally came 18, that's all I wanted to do was just be gay. And I was not sexually promiscuous. I didn't even kiss my first guy until I was 18. I probably got it like when I was 19 and probably want my third partner that I had slept with, very naive, didn't even know. I knew about HIV, like you heard it, but it's still back then was still like that's something white people get, white gay men get. You knew just to be careful. So when I met the guy that physically, I contracted the virus from. It was like, an older man. I thought it was someone, I thought, this older guy's on me. And so when I had sex, I thought it was just something that you had to do. Like he likes you. If you want to keep him, you need to have sex with him. I was very naive. He was like a minister of music, very Christian, but he was a very nice looking older man, had his own car, house. So I was thinking, oh,
Yeah.
and he wants my little young ass. Okay, perfect. And so I remember the night that we had sexual intercourse, we had sex, and it was weird. It was very, very weird. The signs were there. So I know exactly who I got it from. So, we engaged in sexual activity. The thing is, I could ask for a condom, but I didn't. I didn't want him. I was more worried about, well, he's going to think I don't like him. Let me just do this. And so I did it. Afterwards, he like balled up in his corner and just boo-hooed and cried.
Wow.
And at the time, I thought it was because he just had sex with a man, and I know he was very religious, so I'm thinking that. And it was a year later, I was talking to a friend of mine, and that's when they told me about him. And I immediately freaked out in the car, like, oh my God, that explained to me why he balled up. He knew what he just did to me.
Yeah.
So he intentionally infected me with the HIV virus. And so and I, once I found out, I knew where I got it from, but I wasn't even mad. I was so much more mad at myself because all I had to do was ask him to put a condom on. I thought it was that simple. So, so HIV looks different than it does now. I mean, it literally, when the doctor told me, I didn't think I was going to live past 30. So here I am, 40, 20 years living with the virus, healthy. And so, it's a whole different look right now. That's a lot.
No, that was a lot for you to. Was a lot for you, right?
That was a lot
because it's real interesting. You talk about this. What I really appreciate this idea of not victimizing yourself and accepting like this is what I did.
Right.
This is what I like to do. Because on the other end, there's like Tyler. So Tyler, talk to us more about your process of contracting HIV, which looks really different.
It did. And Nathan, to you, I have to reach out and say, I appreciate the fact that you're not victimizing yourself. I do want to say, that is a terrible way to become infected when somebody intentionally infects you and doesn't let you know.
Right.
That doesn't give you, the way to sort of ask. It sort of takes away all your rights. However, my story is a lot different. Starting at 16, I started having sex at 16, and I was very promiscuous at that age. 18, I sort of moved out, and that's when I really discovered the power and the grip behind using meth and using drugs, and using men to get what I wanted. And when you dive into a drug-fueled community, you sort of dive into everything that it encompasses. And one of the things that it encompassed, especially meth, was unprotected sex. And because of sort of the mental health issues that I was going through at the time, I had equated HIV to death. So I didn't want to live past 21. I told all my friends I wasn't going to live past 21. I was like, you know what? Like, this is it. This is going to be my final year. So I did everything I could in order for me to achieve that goal. And that process was like getting HIV. And that's the only thing I could figure that would end my life. I had attempted suicide a couple of times. I had tried to OD a couple of times. I am a survivor of self-mutilation. So I only knew HIV would cause death, and that's what I wanted. So I intentionally would sleep with men that I knew were positive without fully knowing what undetectable meant, without fully knowing what being positive meant. All I knew was that they had HIV and that they were going to die. So I can actually pinpoint it down to one of two people that I got it from. One was either my drug dealer at the time, and he had gotten it from his ex-partner that didn't help him, and he in turn didn't tell me, but I didn't care whether he told me or not because I knew he had it. He'd been sick for a couple of months, and I continuously fucked with him. The other person had told me that he was positive, and he had told me he had it that as a pain, and I still continuously fucked with him. And a few months after I was diagnosed, a few months after I was unofficially diagnosed, he had passed away. And that's sort of when it clicked to me like, oh, holy shit, I now have it. And I was sort of just waiting for that moment to just end. It took me almost 6 months for me to even come to terms with the fact that I actually just did this to myself, and I was really just waiting for it to take my life. And when it didn't, I was like, damn it, back to the drawing board. But I don't, this is going to sound weird, but I don't feel bad that I got it. I feel bad for anybody else that has to go through such a horrible circumstance in order for them to think that that's the only way they could get a better life.
Yeah.
I feel horrible that I couldn't care enough about myself. But I wouldn't take back the decision that I made because I made the decision consciously. Regardless of the reason I made that decision consciously, and I now have to live with that decision, and I hope I can inspire somebody else to make a better decision.
Yeah. You know what? It's so powerful what you said. And I think that's what I like what you said about, you accepted that you have it. And that is like the hardest part, I think, about living with the virus. It's like, when do you accept it? I mean, you get the diagnosis, you're like, okay. The acceptance part varies for different people. You know what I'm saying? I have friends that still don't accept it, you know what I'm saying? And it's a constant battle. But it is such a peaceful mindset once you have said, you know what, I have it, I want to live, I want to take the medication, I want to do whatever I need to do. It's such a sense of peace, and it frees you mentally, physically to just be able to live in your truth. And that's part of it. But that looks different for everybody, unfortunately. But until you sit down, I had to have a talk with myself and say, oh, I'm gay. Like, physically, I had to say it out of my mouth and realize it. You have to say the same thing. I am HIV positive, and what's next? I mean, you literally have to say those things to yourself.
Absolutely. And I had that exact conversation with myself,
Yeah.
I sort of had this come to Jesus moment, we call it, where I sat down with myself and I was like, you know what? I did this to myself.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad. I did this to myself, and now I'm living with it. So now what do I do?
And I think so.
Out of it, but now I'm living with it. So now what do I do?
So it's so powerful because you're accepting. I did this to myself, and so many other people. They're. You have the partner that knew and everything like that. But I remember people asked me. I never seen the guy pretty much after we had. He did what he did. I found he had passed away. And people were like, well, did you ever want, I don't even know what I would do when I see it. But I didn't blame him. He was at fault, but the blame wasn't on him. It was on me because all I had to do was say, put a condom on. And if he didn't want to do it, I didn't have to engage in a sexual act.
But that's the really interesting part, right? Because the balance, I think, is and correct me if I'm wrong, Tyler. The balance I hear is for you, you take you take you acknowledge it simply because of the fact that you understand that for you in your mind it could have been a simple fix, right? Tyler, based on where you were, it seems to me as almost as if you were chasing it, being a bug chaser.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just FYI, you guys, bug chaser. Um, so a bug chaser is basically a term that certain communities use. I think it's a little stigmatizing, but it is a term. It's a local term, basically saying that for an HIV negative person, they are seeking to get. Either seeking to get the virus, but generally what it means is that you aren't afraid of the virus and that you go after people that are HIV positive. So in certain sects, SECTS, in certain sects, people will call me a bug chaser. I've said in previous podcasts, I like to fuck HIV positive bitches because those hoes are nasty. They get real freaky. We know they fuck raw because that's how they got HIV. So I've said that in previous conversations. So in certain sects, they would call me a bug chaser. But explain to the people, Tyler, in what way you considered yourself a bug chaser.
So you hit the nail on the head when it came to the literal definition of bug chasing. However, some of the things that I think separate bug chasing from fucking raw is you are literally chasing after this. You're chasing after HIV, and you're chasing after not just positive men, because positive can also mean undetectable, right?
Yeah.
You're chasing after men with a viral load in order to obtain HIV. Regardless of your reason. So one of the reasons is you're not afraid of it. Another reasoning is, as in my case, is I equated it to death, and to me, that's the only sort of out I had. Another reasoning, people have linked it to a sense of community. There is a sense of community among HIV positive folks that isn't necessarily prevalent in other communities. We all come together, we are all positive, and that's the one thing that bounds us together. That I don't think things such as being gay really bounds us together. Yeah, you're gay, so am I, but there's such a difference in gay, and when you're positive, I'm positive, you're positive, we understand each other. And I think those are some of the reasons that really help, but that really separate bug chasing from people that just fuck raw. And a lot of it is just, they're no longer afraid of HIV, they're no longer afraid of that stigma, and they may think that they're going to get it eventually. If you look at the numbers, 1 out of every 2 black men who sleep with men will obtain HIV within a lifetime. And so why would they care anymore? Or why would they want to? Not saying that they shouldn't, but that's some of their thought process of, I'm going to get it anyways, so I might as well take that power back, and I might as well give it to myself. And I might as well have this full gay experience rather than just a partial one. So that's some of the thought process, and that's some of what separates bug chasing from simply fucking raw. And in my piece specifically, I was a bug chaser because I felt that people that I knew were not on medicine, that I knew were not virally suppressed, and that I knew were sick, quote unquote. And that's a very stigmatizing word to use when it comes to HIV, but they were sick. The last person I said this, he told me he had AIDS.
Yeah.
And I knew it, and I slept with him on purpose. So that's sort of the difference between bug chasing and fucking raw, or bug chasing and fucking somebody who's HIV positive. Yeah.
And it's something, Tyler, you brought up several good points. It's people don't like. I've actually was pretty shocked. I wouldn't call myself a bug chaser, but I mean, I understand. And we have to be careful, though. I mean, you brought up some good points. Some people are like, well, I'm going to get it anyway. It is true, but you really don't have to get it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you don't want to have, I'm telling you, no one should want to have this disease or live with it if they don't have to. But we understand. I was shocked. I was hearing stories about people like New York, for instance. I hear they really take care of the HIV population. So they put people in school apart. So a lot of people, shockingly, people don't want to believe it, will get it just because they they will have a better life because of the benefits that will come with it, as far as getting on disability, getting a check every month, housing, and all the other free things. But but if you really talk to people, and I mean, once again, if you do not have to get the virus, you don't want to get it. I would hope that's what would happen with people, because internally you probably think that, but then once you actually contracted the virus, like, it's a whole different mindset.
And I think it's a population of people that would disagree.
Oh yeah, of course.
But I also think that I also think that the conversation really is about how how needless we feel when it comes to life. Like, our life expectancy is so short. Uh, our disparities on both people of color and gay, or black and gay, have all these issues. The 1 and 2 projection. I just want to clarify that that's a projection. That doesn't have to happen. That's not a statistic, but it is a projection. The 1 and 2 thing, but hearing those things, although a HIV negative person, I always say, like, I've done nothing to become or to continue to be HIV negative, different than an HIV positive person, other than luck, and the design of the universe. Because surely me and 98% of everybody I know regularly do what HIV positive do. What am I saying, bitches? Because y'all probably questioning what the fuck I'm saying. Y'all out here fucking raw, gay, straight, and otherwise. Y'all busting up in. That's why we got motherfucking PrEP. And I'm not talking about PrEP, pre-exposure prophylaxis, Truvada. I'm talking about birth control. Because we would need birth control if you straight hoes wasn't busting up inside each other, okay? So with that being said, I just want to be clear that we ain't did nothing different than anybody that has contracted the disease. But I can't deny that, bitch, y'all do get a lot of assistance.
I mean, we got to be careful with that. And we got Trump in office now, and we're fighting for dollars. And at the end of the day, I know a lot of people that do take advantage of it. I mean, not even advantage. It's out there for you. You should be able to take it. It is assistance. It is, you are living with a disease, so you do require certain assistance. So, but that myth, it's a lot of dollars out of there. And then,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to go on to something a little lighter.
Yeah. Lighter.
Y'all only date people living with HIV, or are y'all into magnetic couples, like, Sarah Discordant?
I'm not sure positive. What magnetic couples mean.
Magnetic. So, a magnet is a positive and a negative.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So a positive and a negative person.
Thank you for that. That's a new one.
I've only dated one other positive person in my life, and that was my ex in Vegas. Other than that, everybody that I dated out in Orlando have all been negative or on PrEP.
Okay.
So I don't purposely date people that are negative. I don't purposely not date people that are positive either. It's just sort of the draw for me. I'm not even saying the luck draw, it's just the draw. It's whatever draw I draw and whatever person I'm attracted to at that moment.
I'm with you.
And whoever's taking me down the bed, right? But I don't purposely date or not date anybody based on their status. I am very clear about my status from the beginning. And like me personally, I actually tell my story date like 1 or 2 because I'm such an advocate for being a voice for the voiceless and being a voice for other Bugchasers and sex workers. I make sure like that's known, like date 1 and 2, like, listen, you can keep taking me down, but this is what I talk about. This is my story, this is my back piece, and you can either accept it and keep taking me, or you can move on and I'll find some other thing. But like that's like from like the get. I'm like, listen, this is what's gonna happen. This is the narrative.
Yeah, I agree, Troy. Dating is very, very tricky. I think it's best to just say it up front, because It's nothing like trying to get to know somebody. And even in this day and age, you're judged, like, oh my God, I can't date someone positive. I mean, you just don't want to go through that rejection. So it's best to be honest, like, look, dude. But I do prefer to date someone that's HIV positive. That's just my preference. Now, have I dated, people that are negative? Yes. But my preference is for those that are living such as myself. I think it just makes, to me, in my head, makes dating much easier. But that's just my own issues. I think dating someone negative that has. But if I've dated people that are negative and they work in the field, so they have a clear understanding about the virus. You date someone that's negative and they just really don't know a lot about it. But even I found dating someone that's positive, that's newly diagnosed, and then they're using me as a counselor instead of a dating partner, and then it's like, oh, it makes the relationship. It doesn't really get any far. So my preference is to date someone positive, but at the same time, I'm very open minded. I just need them to be open minded. And please ask questions. Best thing to say.
Yeah. So lightning round.
Yeah, let's do the
Lightning
lightning
round.
round. Come on.
Okay, how has HIV, how has living with HIV changed you for the good?
Well, go ahead. You go first.
Oh, girl. HIV, and I say this all the time, HIV changed my life. HIV, once I accepted the fact that I was living with HIV, and once I accepted the fact that I was no longer going to die, I had that come to Jesus moment again, and I was like, no, I'm living with this, and I have more life to live. And it was sort of just this, and this is not for every person that's depressed, this is not for every person that's going through some shit, but for me personally, I had to switch that one off, and I was like, fuck, I guess I saw more shit to see, more things to do, and more people to meet, and more stories to tell. Because that was the last thing that I knew that would sort of put me over the edge. As I said earlier in the podcast, I tried several ways for me to no longer be on this earth, and that was sort of the last straw. If this doesn't take me, nothing will fucking take me. So it made me sort of wake up and say, you know what? I gotta care about me. And if no one fucking else will, I have to care about me. I have to care about me because no one else is going to. And I'm here for a reason. And if that reason is to tell a message about Bugchasing, so be it. If that message is to tell a message about sex workers living with HIV, then so be it. If that message is simply to just be on this earth to provide a smile and some happiness, then so be it. But I gotta be here for me and nothing else. And that's how HIV has tremendously changed my life around for the good. It forced me to look at my life and say, I'm here for me, and none of these other bitches matter.
Yes.
I totally agree, Troy. It definitely has changed my life. And because I've been living half of my life with it, I can't say how my life would be different without it because I don't know what it would be. But I definitely have to say, I'm grateful to be alive. You really appreciate every day that you're on this earth. I mean, you just truly blessed. It's hard still mentally. It's every day you take this medication for the rest of your life. It's a daily reminder, but at the same time, you appreciate the little things. I mean, being 22, I went to college. I'm working on my third degree. I'm considering myself a professional. And so these are things that I never even thought I've achieved. I think going to college, it's my sister. She's going to college now. My niece is going to college. I was the first one in my family. So my life has just been, and I have so many people that look up to me, and I haven't always been waving that HIV positive flag. It's just recently in the last couple of years, even with my son kind of just really pushing me and Pops, you need to tell your story. I'm nobody wants to hear about a 40-year-old man with HIV. But I think this was so excellent because, I mean, it's good for the younger generation. You telling your story, Tyler, me telling my story. We're really going through the same thing. You know what I'm saying? We may look at things differently, but really HIV is people, I hate that. I've been seeing I'm so sick and tired about. I don't want to see the commercials, but we got to keep doing that. But it's changed my life definitely for the best. And the main thing is that you appreciate life, or you look at life so different.
And I was going to ask my last lightning round question, but I'm going to close the box because that's what the fuck I do. And the reason why I'm closing the box was because my last question was about sex. And what I'm really excited about with this particular podcast episode is we talked about something that's a sexually transmitted infection, and not one time did we talk about sex. We didn't make this about the type of sex you have. We didn't make this about the type of fucking you like to do. We made this about the person. What you see in these two different stories is that one took the power of being the victim away and said that it is more powerful for me to deal with what I did and deal with my actions. And however I did that, you can ask him more by following him, Nathan Mac. No, I'm sorry, the Undefined One on Instagram. So he took the power back and said, you know what? I'm not going to let this person have control over a decision I made, and I'm just going to deal with what happens from it. And then you also have a very powerful story of Bugchasing, someone who was intentionally having sex with people that were HIV positive, and not only HIV positive, not on medication, and potentially with an AIDS diagnosis. If you don't know the difference, Google it, child. But either way, the point is made a conscious decision to contract HIV in some form, and it's changed his life. What this means for us as people, I know it's a lot of women listeners that I have. Thank you guys so much. Y'all are the reason why I'm making these episodes over 45 minutes, because y'all said they're too short. And also my LGBT people that listen in and have subscribed. I do want to let you guys know that not only is there life after HIV, bitch, stop speaking death on people. Stop stigmatizing people, child. No matter how people are getting HIV, I want you to see yourself. We're a lot more alike than different, right? We're doing the same motherfucking shit. We will continue to do the same motherfucking shit because ain't nothing prettier than somebody pushing out that nut. You know what I'm saying? But you got to be safe. You got to be clear, and safe looks different for everybody. Some people safe look like jacking that, pulling the condom off, jacking that dick off, and nutting on the hole. The next person, it look like putting it in raw from the beginning, and the next bitch might look like pulling it out because they think the pull out method is better, and nutting on the face. Either way, we all having sex. We all are enjoying it, and this is a lot less about if you heard their stories and listened intensely. This is a lot less about sex and a lot more about decision making. So with that, we are closing the motherfucking box.
Can we say something?
What y'all got to say?
I have one more thing to say.
Okay.
Like, that statistic of 1 in 2 HIV positive. I firmly believe I'm in this whole big "you equals you" campaign. Don't know what it is? Look it up. The way we can make sure that those statistics don't become realistic is by those that are negative have to get on PrEP as an option. And if you are positive, you have to get tested. You have to adhere to your medication. Become undetectable. So with undetectable and a PrEP person having sex, there's no way of transmitting this HIV virus. And that is the only way we're going to be able to get in control of this virus. Is that if you are positive, you don't know your status, you have to get tested and you have to take your medication. And if you're not negative and you like to have sex raw, then you need to get on PrEP. And that's my own personal thing that I just have to push.
Okay. Tyler, you got any final thoughts, bitch?
No, thank you. Please, yes.
Yes.
The fucking movement. Yes. That is the message of the day. You equals you.
Yes.
You equals you is the message of the day. Thank
That
you.
is.
Yes. So before we leave, just for a moment, if y'all can just talk about y'all projects. But before y'all talk about y'all projects, because the box is closed, bitches. Before y'all talk about your projects and how y'all can find us, as you know, you can find Dick in the Box at DCKANDDABOX on Instagram, and if you add a .com, it will take you to our website. You can find me by NL Haddock on all platforms except for Twitter, which is the normal anomaly. And if you want to find more information about me, you can go to nlhaddock.com also. Please, 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 please subscribe We really need your subscriptions. Subscribe, rate us 5 stars, leave a review. We have no reviews yet. We have a couple different ratings. Y'all are listening. I'm watching the analytics. I hope y'all are liking it. But please rate us 5 stars and subscribe. It helps us with the algorithm, especially if you're on the iTunes platform. So yeah, I had to throw that in, and I'm probably gonna say that again. So anyway, projects. Where can they find you?
You can definitely find me, the Undefined One, on Instagram. Look for me on Ian's Facebook page. I'm his friend. If you want to hit me up on Facebook, inbox me. I would love to answer any questions, and please, feedback would be great and excellent. But as far as projects, I'm kind of just finding myself, doing myself right now. So, we'll see what's going on.
I'm not sure if he meant with the dildo or not, but doing myself is good too. What about you, Tyler?
So y'all can find me on Facebook and on Instagram. Instagram is Tyler Hurt _. That same name is going to be on Facebook, Tyler Hurt. If y'all want to follow my porn star, because I'm hot, cute, I'm a twunk, I'm in my 20s, follow my Twitter at Roman Black, ROMANBLDK.
Oh, I did.
Great video.
I didn't tell y'all that he does he does porn too.
Tyler, I'm looking at your pictures like, oh my God. The body is amazing. Jesus.
So, anywho, he is a porn star. This box, before I officially close the box, rate us, bitch. Why are you looking at this man booty?
I mean,
he got jack off vids on Twitter. When y'all watch these Twitter videos, listen to the podcast and rate us 5 stars and review us. Anyway, this has been fun. Thank you guys so much for coming on. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed listening. 5 stars and subscribe, my loves. I love y'all. This box is officially closed, bitches.